Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Friday edition of your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, when we hear the word caramel, we immediately associate it with soft and dense, chewy, dark orange confectionery, which we enjoy in our puddings and our desserts. But lately, we're also starting to see caramel, this trend, more frequently in our everyday lives. And I'm joined by our fashion and beauty editor, Mafu, and lifestyle director, Ian Martin, to unpack this notable trend in fashion and in homeware as well. Great to have the both of you here on this Friday morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're talking all things caramel.
Absolutely.
Caramel. How do you guys pronounce it?
Caramel.
Caramel.
Either way, it's a trend that we are talking about right now. And why do you think it has become such a popular trend outside of the foodie world now, kind of spilling over into homeware, into fashion, into beauty?
Sure, I think we were actually chatting earlier. I think it actually comes from the food thing.
Yeah.
I think because of that caramel thing, it kind of invokes a sense of decadence. There's a grounded kind of like beauty to that color. That's a little bit of, I think it's a bit of a guilty pleasure as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's warm, it's inviting, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, I sort of want to either get into this, or it kind of makes me feel warm and cozy.
From inside, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I love the word like decadence. It's an indulgent kind of color. I love how, like, even in clothes, it really does have a great way of making you feel really secure and grounded, really. It's got a really earthy tone to it, and I think it's really taken full trend, I mean, in fashion and in beauty from 2018, but we're seeing it loud and proud now in 2020.
Yeah. Let's start addressing it from a homeware perspective and how it plays out, and in the homeware space, caramel.
You know, the decor Bible of color, Pantone, last year they actually created a range called Cravings of colors that falls into a category basically inspired by food.
Yes.
That sort of evoked a bit of an emotion, that a color kind of did that to you. And two of the colors that came out of that it was called Butter Rum, and the other color was called cognac. So you got all of those colors, and the sounds of the colors are actually invoking that foodie
Right?
thing.
When you say butter rum, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
cognac.
Or like,
Oh.
or maybe like spiced honey.
That does, yeah.
So from a homemade point of view, it's obviously we're really lucky because we're kind of playing into the world of natural. So there's a lot of like your woods and that kind of thing that come through.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a 70s throwback as well, and I think we're doing a bit of a retrospective there.
It's got that old radio vibe, kind of tuning it while you're driving in your
You
car.
remember those days, like back in the day when your mom had that old Tupperware? It was
Because I was there, right?
Those weird colors.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. It's like it had its day, and it's clearly having its day again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from a fashion world point of view.
I think, you know, these things are very interchangeable, and I love how what's happening in design will reflect itself also in fashion and beauty trends. So I definitely think that it really has a beautiful way of being a good staple, a chic kind of good finish to any kind of capsule wardrobe. I think really it's taking center stage because it is such a good basic, such a great way to ground any kind of fashion sense, and even in the beauty game, it really is about bringing out those natural earthy tones of your own skin, really drawing on what you have already and just how you can elevate that.
Absolutely. Ian, let's talk about how you then incorporate this into the textures and the fabrics that make up this look that you've set up for us.
Sure. Well, I mean, with Knox's fashion, you've got a strong kind of like solid color. With homeware, we're more inspired by things like wood textures, like a rich wood, beautiful like golden honey kind of gold colors in the crockery, the beautiful linens that come through. The thing is, with these textures and these colors, they're always acting as Knox was saying in fashion, they're very grounding. So whether you've got your white crockery, whether you've maybe got like a clay kind of pink server or something like that, your sort of cognac-y caramel colors are those rounded kind of ones that base your stuff. So white linen, white crockery teamed up with a beautiful textured like wooden board, or it's a golden server or something like that. That's where that color really like it comes to life, and it kind of elevates your day-to-day crockery or anything in your dining or bedroom or so on.
Yeah, and even when you think about like the food that you would be serving up in that space, it's kind of like it's that grounded kind of food, that homemade food, that stewy chewy, saucy, warm you up from the inside kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, even if we think about from a fashion perspective, really, I think if we were to lean onto what you were saying, Ian, a lot of what I've seen, you know, from a fashion perspective is really that this color allows for all trends to kind of manifest. You can have your print, you can have your stripe. I mean, even if we look at what we have on the rail, it really is a beautiful way that we can play with the stripes in the menswear, even in the female wear, but utility styles are really coming out here. So really practical, easy to integrate into your style. You can go from going outside for a quick walk, you can go back to a meeting, really breathable and livable materials. So you're looking at your cottons, you're looking at your very soft, warm, breathable knits.
Just the kind of stuff that makes you want to hug yourself.
Oh my goodness. And you feel like really supported. I think when I think about my wardrobe and buying things, I really want to get items that can really last across the different seasons.
Yes.
And I think that this color really lends itself to it. And also, of course, the materials do too.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, when I look at our models here who are looking so amazing, we've got Jamie, you know, decked out in the most beautiful colors. And like you're seeing the trend here in the shawl. Jamie, how do you feel in that outfit? Because, I mean, you're looking incredible.
Thank you very much. I honestly feel rich. I feel like the rich auntie right now. But really, the color palette, it's just screaming trends right now.
Yes.
And like you said, it's so versatile. You can play along with it. You can just add layers to it, but it's still a bold statement, and you're still getting that earthy tones coming through. So definitely oozing comfort and oozing confidence, ticking all the boxes for me.
Yeah, I love how the trends really come together. I mean, from a female perspective in the women's wear, we can really take it over to men's wear. Ryle, I know you're quite a sporty man. How are you feeling?
This is the most sophisticated I've ever seen.
Oh, wow,
We styled him to the nines.
So I've got to be honest, in just sitting here with Jamie, this entire vibe makes me feel like I'm this bougie safari thing. And you guys have just distracted us, so thank you for that. But on an honest note, what I love the most about the gear is that I have freedom. Freedom to move, freedom to play, and that's something that I really love. So whether I'm going to a safari, whether I'm heading off into the outdoors to my nature lover heart of mine, I think it works. I mean, look at this. I can do a full squat, good range, you know what I mean? This is
Did the dogs move again?
Just once more.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
You just ruined the entire day now.
But I like it. Bougie safari. Is that a thing?
It is
Has that
now.
ever been a thing?
It is. We just coined it. We just coined it.
Wow.
Just
In here,
top that, guys, and then we're good.
It feels so good, but I think really the materials come together. We've got a good play here of lovely textures that can be styled for anyone, as we can see.
Does this then also translate into the beauty game?
Well, the beauty game, exactly that, Katlego. I think a lot of it has got to do with using those natural tones. Last week, we spoke a little bit about yoga skin and really playing on that minimalist look.
Yeah.
You can do that again with the beauty. It's about leaning on your foundations, a good base for your face, making sure that medium to full coverage is managed, and then just using gold accents like your illuminators, your highlighters, just to bring that pop to the face. And I really think that you can do so in the beauty game and really integrate a beautiful fashion sense from your beauty and your fashion in a way that's really great.
Flawless finishes all round. So if I could ask the both of you, starting off with you first, Ian, to just give your final words of advice for people who are looking to kind of incorporate this look into the season, you know, kind of getting it into their homes, and then of course we'll go to you, Knox, to talk about the fashion, this final words of advice.
Sure. Like I was saying earlier, I think it's always been there, the caramel color. I think we didn't really sort of realize it. From a homeware point of view, it really is that it's that base, it's that foundation, it's the thing that kind of like grounds it. At the moment, there's quite a strong return to nature. So the two are going really nicely together. So the sustainably sourced woods, whatever it might be that you can do to kind of do your little bit for nature, caramel is really kind of coming through quite strong there. So it's your linens, it's your beautiful wooden chopping boards and so on. It's not from a homeware point of view, you don't really need to experiment too much. It's kind of there already.
Absolutely. And from fashion, really, we lean onto each other. I think here you really can look for staple pieces. You really can look at those great statement, bold pieces that we've seen even on the rail and do that with good design. So really looking for materials that are sustainably sourced, your 100% cotton, and really looking for statement long-wearing items that can really be worn every season.
Yeah, and these visuals have just paired up wonderfully with our discussion as well and really have translated what we've been talking about into a visual aspect. Knox, Ian, thank you very, very much for unpacking the caramel trend for us and, of course, our viewers as well. Now, remember that you don't only have to eat caramel in your puddings. You can, of course, breathe it into your daily lives by spicing up your decor and your personal style as well. And you can shop these caramel pieces and more at Woolworths. Of course, you can do so in-store, online, or on the Woolies app.